Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Channel Future webcast, How New Secure Backup Technology Stops Ransomware in its Tracks, sponsored by Veeam, Green Cloud Technologies, and Cloudian. If you have any technical difficulties during today's session, please press the Help widget on your player console to receive assistance in solving common issues. If at any time you're having audio difficulties or issues with advancing of the slides, simply hit your F5 key to refresh your webcast console. To submit your question, simply type it into the question window on your screen and then press the Submit button. Today's web seminar is being recorded and will be available on demand for 12 months starting tomorrow, and you will receive an email when it's ready. So let's meet today's speakers. We have Gina Kennedy-Toney, contributing editor at Channel Futures, Justin Fox, product architect at Green Cloud Technologies, Sanjay Jagat, Senior Director, Product Management and Alliances at Cloudian, and Mike Solman, Senior Systems Engineer at Veeam. Gina is a marketing executive with over 20 years of experience across many technical arenas, specifically cloud services to include cloud communications, connectivity, security, and computing. Justin drives the design, development, and implementation of Green Cloud's industry-leading products and solutions. Justin serves as a Director of Service Delivery for the company prior to being promoted to Product Architect. Sanjay has worked in the storage industry for 20-plus years, helping customers build dynamic IT infrastructures that better align with business challenges using the latest technology around flash big data, OpenStack, and hybrid cloud. And Mike, with more than 19 years of experience in data center technologies, he mentors and educates the MSP, VAR, and reseller communities at Veeam to help them develop bulletproof, data-resilient processes and policies. And with that, the floor is all yours. Gina, Justin, Sanjay, and Mike.
Thank you, Mogli. Good afternoon, everyone. As Mogli told you, I'm Gina Kennedy-Toney. I'm the founder of Gina Toney Media. I've served in the cloud and technology industry for over 20 years in key sales, marketing, and management roles. I research market trends, the latest news, and of course the analytics around the technology landscape, then interpret my findings into a digestible format for MSPs, VARs, partners, sales teams, customers, and analysts, as well as national and global organizations. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to talk about ransomware attacks, how they're skyrocketing. We're going to talk about the collateral damage caused, the growing sophistication of ransomware, and the fact that no one is immune. We know that ransomware is the fastest growing malware threat that targets users of all types, and the proof is in the numbers. According to the FBI, there are about 4,000 attacks a day, and it's growing. Top 5 risks to world economy, $8 billion in cost to businesses, $133,000 average cost is the average cost per attack, and 51% of companies pay that ransom or pay the ransom. So ransomware attacks are on the rise, increasing 97% in the last 2 years alone. A recent article in Cybercrime magazine shows that global ransomware damage costs are predicted to reach $20 billion, that's billion, by 2021, an increase of $325 million since 2015. So you can imagine that that number is really only headed up. So ransomware is getting much more sophisticated. SC magazine states that there's a sophistication of the delivery of the new ransomware. And these are not only new variants, they also incorporate new technologies and ensure maximum disruptions. So these are some of the things that you'll see. Many security researchers agree that ransomware is often spread via email and like most forms of malware. Its presence is growing within compromised or malicious websites, malicious files, and within mobile apps or links to ads. Ransomware is peculiar in contrast to the others because in that order to be effective, it doesn't need to remain undetected. In fact, Ransomware announces itself once the attack is successful. According to the New York Times, cyber criminals are targeting anything of value. This most certainly includes stored critical data, and no one is immune, even our own military. Government authorities say the problem will get worse before it gets better. Here's some examples. The Coast Guard, yes, the United States Coast Guard, said in December that ransomware had forced a cargo transfer facility to shut down for more than 30 hours. The city of New Orleans, one of dozens of cities hit by ransomware over the last year, was attacked with similar ransomware. Travelex, the company that provides banks with cash, was targeted by ransomware by hackers who demanded $6 million. And then on a smaller note, Colorado Timberline, and this is the extreme, Colorado Timberline is a printing company in Denver, Colorado with hundreds of employees. They were forced to shut their doors due to an attack. Today, I would like to introduce Justin with Green Cloud to learn more about the risks and fail-safe practices that can mitigate the risk of an attack. Justin, take it away.
Thanks, Gina. I appreciate that insight into ransomware and what it's done over the last few years. It's becoming a significant threat for companies of all sizes, as we just heard. Again, my name is Justin Fox, the product architect with Green Cloud Technologies. I've been here since 2015, been in the IT business for about 20 years. A prior life to Green Cloud was working in the managed services provider space. Here on the product team, it's my job to work with our group, our partners, et cetera, to develop new products and ensure that we're delivering best of breed to them. So before I go ahead and get into how ransomware protection can be defeated through our products, I want to give you a little bit more background about Green Cloud and who we are, what we do, and how we get to market. So who we are and what we do, we're a channel-focused company where we deliver our services through the MSP channel. We have a variety of services across those pillars you see on the screen here, with the core pillar being IaaS, on through disaster recovery, backup as a service, desktop as a service, and under that security pillar, we have a whole host of security offerings from EDR, SIEM, incident response, everything that you can think of that a managed service security provider would offer. We've offered this through the MSP channel, and we chose that from our inception as an organization because we believe it's the best way to deliver enterprise-class products down to the small business space, because that's where a lot of these services really can have the most impact. Additionally, they are becoming, the small businesses and MSPs both are becoming an intense attack point for ransomware and bad actors. So Green Cloud is located in 6 data centers across the United States. We've partnered with best of breed in the market. Our Cisco infrastructure is powered by Cisco UCS platform. We are VMware Cloud verified, meaning our Cisco stack and VMware stack are built across validated designs. We're a platinum Veeam partner, and our most recent partner that we added to our fold this year is Cloudian for us to enable object storage. We have a variety of compliance certifications and attestations throughout our data centers and our organization that always help when MSPs are trying to make a choice of their preferred cloud provider. So one of the things that ransomware has started doing in the last few years is attacking backup storage. Right? Previously, your safeguard was your backup. It was make sure you had good backup and that can protect you. That was your last line of defense from ransomware. Well, the bad actors got smart and they started attacking the backup storage and encrypting the backups first, so taking away your recovery options. So that's why ransomware security protections fail. If you're not taking data protection as part of your overall security conversation today, you really need to start considering that, because that is truly your last line of defense. So how do you secure your data protection? All the other security services you put in front of that backup are good, necessary, and should be in place, but the last line of defense is protecting that backup storage. And that's what Green Cloud is bringing to market, with our new secure backup product. As I mentioned earlier, our most recent partner this year is Cloudian, enabling us to deliver object storage as part of our product offerings. Earlier this year, when Veeam released their V10 version, they brought object storage and S3 storage into their product, enabling backup as a service providers like GreenCloud to combine best-of-breed solutions between Veeam Cloud Connect and Cloudian's object storage, enabling us the ability as the service provider to deliver our partners a secure backup solution, enabling the S3 capability around object lock, making those backups truly protected from ransomware. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Zollman so he can go into a little bit more about Veeam and their capabilities and what they help GreenCloud deliver.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it. Hey, everyone. My name is Michael Zollman. I'm a senior systems engineer with Veeam Software. I've been with the company since 2017, and I have a very specific focus on working with our partners that are our Veeam Cloud service providers like GreenCloud. And prior to Veeam, I was in the consulting service provider space, so I bring a lot of knowledge around operational functionality and how to create these solution sets leveraging different partnerships and bringing together solutions that GreenCloud is bringing to market. So I want to start with a little bit about Veeam. If you're not familiar with Veeam as a company, and is kind of how large we are and where we fit in the market today. So we are a global company currently headquartered in Baas, Switzerland. The biggest thing to note here is our install base. This 365,000 customers. These are paid customers that are leveraging our software solutions to do data protection for their environments. And these customers range all the way from small businesses up to Fortune 500 and Global 2000 customers. And from that size, as we've grown over the last 14 years in business, we actually achieved last year $1 billion in run rate revenue, which is a pretty big deal for a software-only company. But the thing we're most proud of is our NPS score. So the NPS score is an industry metric that is independent survey of customers, both through a procurement process and initial purchase of the product, but also ongoing support of the product. And our NPS score of 75 is much higher than the industry average, which indicates a lot of customer satisfaction with our products. So data protection drivers, one of the things that's most important in today's business world, regardless of the industry vertical that you're in, is the data becomes the most important aspect of running a business. I mean, you can rebuild infrastructure, you can rebuild application platforms, but the underlying data has become extremely critical to the business and for business operations and ongoing business functionality. And so data criticality is extremely important. The other thing that's very important around understanding data and protecting that data is that data growth has been on the uptrend for many, many years, and it's just accelerating. So the more applications that are developed providing services to end users and to businesses, the larger the amount of data that those guys produce as well as consume for their business operations, which leads us to data sprawl. That large growth of data really has an impact upon the business as that data gets larger and bigger, and it's hard to keep control of it and make sure that everything gets protected as a part of these things, which are so critical to the business. So Veeam's vision around data protection is we want to be the most trusted provider of backup solutions for cloud data management. And the three tenets that you see on the slide in front of you are how we always in the back of our mind, whenever we're bringing a product to market or we're developing a new version of a product or a new feature, is that we want it to be simple, reliable, and flexible. So simple, we want it to be easy for people to execute their data protection strategy, whatever that is, whether it's a small business or a Fortune 500 company. And reliable, obviously with the criticality of data, we need the product to work and we need our data protected. But flexibility brings to the table that even though we want it to be simple, we also want it to be very robust with the ability to configure the product set the way that you need it to achieve your data protection goals. So one of the most important aspects of whenever we design a solution around data protection is what we call the 3-2-1 rule. So the 3-2-1 rule ultimately is a concept that's not unique to Veeam, but we leverage it extensively in our conversations with both partners and customers, is that you want to have 3 copies of your data. You want that stored on 2 different types of media, one of which is offsite. So people a lot of times will ask me, hey, 3 copies of your data, that's a lot, right? Well, don't forget that, for example, your running virtual machine is the first copy of the data. Second copy of the data would be a local backup in the local data center on a different storage platform from what you're running your production VMs on, which adheres to the second rule, which is 2 types of media. So the running VM is running on production SAN storage. The backups are off of that production SAN storage, storing the backups on a different platform. But then we do a copy job to get a copy of our backup data to an offsite customer. And by doing this, we can basically address most any failure domain at a very high level. So whenever we design solution sets specifically for cloud service providers, we're always trying to adhere to the 3-2-1 rule. And one of the ways that we do that is with a product that we came to market with many years ago called Veeam Cloud Connect. So this was the first specific solution offering from Veeam that was targeted at Veeam Cloud service providers, allowing them to create a service that makes it very easy for customers that have on-prem Veeam infrastructure and backups to be able to get that offsite copy. And so what makes this different than just sending it to another data center? Well, the biggest one is that it doesn't require any kind of special networking. So a lot of businesses, first off, don't have the resources or the facilities to have a secondary site for backups. So this allows you to rent the cloud repository from a service provider, which is going to simplify things. The second thing is the network. So a lot of solutions like that would require either some kind of dedicated circuit or a site-to-site VPN connection. With Cloud Connect solution, we don't require a specialized network configuration. The way that it works at a high level is that the Veeam on-premise installation connects to the cloud gateways from the Cloud Connect instance and establishes an SSL TLS tunnel. And it's all done over a single port. So it's very simple when it comes to the networking. But the nice thing about this is that the customer who's leveraging that Cloud Connect repository from the service provider maintains complete visibility and control. And so they will see all of their repository and backups and can control their copy jobs from the same central console that you're using today to do your local backups. And then the last part is it's fully integrated with all Veeam Backup and Replication servers. Every version of Veeam Backup and Replication has the ability to quickly add a service provider through a simple 3-step wizard, and it can get you connected to a service provider where you can start leveraging the cloud repository to send your offsite backups to. And so to give you guys a little bit of a visual on what this can look like from a high-level architecture standpoint, over on the right-hand side, top right, we have our on-premises infrastructure. So this would be a customer's location where they're running workloads, right? They have virtual machines. They may have some physical environments there that they're protecting with Veeam. They could even have resources or be in a scenario of a hybrid cloud where they're running some workloads even in a public cloud space. Well, on the left side, in the service provider area, we have our Veeam Cloud Connect instance with cloud gateways and the Veeam Service Provider Console that can be connected to this on-prem or hybrid cloud solution set and create that SSL TLS tunnel. And then any resources that the service provider provisioned you, for example, a cloud repository, would then be presented to the Veeam Backup and Replication server that's in the on-premises installation for the customer. And then as Justin mentioned, as a part of our latest versions of the product, we have now integrated with the ability to leverage some object storage for capacity tier. And in version 10, we extended that capability even further where we were supporting object lock from Amazon S3 standard. And Cloudian, in this example, has a platform behind our cloud repository that we're using for our capacity tier that also has the object lock functionality enabled in it, and we can leverage for immutable backups. So the nice thing about that, and we'll get into it a little bit deeper here as we go, is that object lock feature allows immutable backups, which means ransomware can't delete those files and also cannot modify those files. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to Sanjay, who can explain a bit more to you guys about what Cloudian does with object lock.
Thank you, Mike. It was really insightful, and I really appreciate the idea and to come here and talk about how Cloudian, Veeam, and Green Cloud are all working together to address this critical issue that we are faced with right now. Right now, ransomware is definitely a bigger threat, and when you talk about the value in integration of solution, working together closely with Veeam, working closely together with the Green Cloud team to offer a solution that allows you to now protect your data and make it immutable such that you can now defend against any of this ransomware attack is very, very critical, right? Cloudian has been a great partner. We have worked very closely with Veeam to integrate our solution so that we can now offer a fully integrated solution from an end-to-end perspective. And one of the reasons I want to just start off and talk about why Cloudian is different and why people like to use Cloudian and use our solution is very simple, right? One is, if you guys don't know, Cloudian today is probably the single independent largest object storage solution available in the market. We have about 500 plus enterprise customers that have used our solution to build their private cloud platform on the object storage, scaling from hundreds of nodes to hundreds of petabytes across multiple data centers. Cloudian is the highest rated object storage solution by Gartner, and their critical capabilities. We beat out some of the established players in terms of all the features and functionalities that we offer that allow this integration with our partners to happen. It also is the highest rated on the Gartner Spear Insight. That means the customers who are using Cloudian have rated Cloudian as one of the highest rated object storage solution. So it's not just the analyst speaking, it's also the customers who are using Cloudian and have confidence in using Cloudian for some of their data needs, right? One of the other unique things is, again, Cloudian is the only object storage solution to have all the regulatory and security certifications that are very, very crucial and critical in today's environment, right? When we're talking about ransomware, what is more important than ransomware? First thing is, yes, supporting object lock so that we can get worm and immutability is good, right? But, whenever you talk about immutability, you also need to make sure that you are making your storage solution tamper-proof. And what I mean by that is you need to have all the right regulatory as well as certifications to show that, this is definitely an immutable storage. There are no backdoors that allow those hackers or those threats to get into the solution, be it locking down root access, because most of the software-defined solutions today operate in a user space. So how do you make that happen? So just object lock is not enough, but doing more than that and having FIPS, common criteria, SEC 17, other certifications and regulations across the world that are needed to offer a secure solution is very, very critical. And whenever you talk about an object storage solution, what is more important than the S3 APIs? Cloudian offers the highest compatibility when it comes to S3 APIs. And this is what makes it easy for us to integrate with our partners like Veeam and offer a compatible solution. But it also is very critical because if you as a customer are using applications and are wanting to write and build applications against S3 and use the object storage solution that Green Cloud has to offer, you need to make sure that your applications are going to be compatible with the S3 APIs that are being used, right? There are many gateway solutions, but, with gateways comes challenges. And that's one of the reasons why even VMware selected Cloudian as the object storage solution for their Cloud Director, as well as their recently announced vSAN solutions. Cloudian offers complete choice to our customers. You can deploy this as a software solution, as a pre-integrated appliance. Their appliance can be spinning drives, high capacity, high density, or flash. So you can now leverage Cloudian to address different requirements from an applications perspective, from a capacity perspective, from a security perspective, from an ecosystem perspective, giving you a perfect solution and a platform to build those services, be it backup as a service, secure backup as a service, and that's what makes Cloudian different. So some of the key features that I want to highlight out here, just so that you understand what Cloudian has to offer. I mentioned this about S3 API and why that is very important, because compatibility with S3 APIs and the native implementation opens up the ecosystem, right? There are thousands and thousands of applications that are built on S3. Now, with having that compatibility, you can have the guarantee and assurance that, your applications will stay compatible. For a lot of file applications that require object storage, but they don't speak S3, Cloudian offers a file connector, which not only just allows you to get POSIX compliance, NFS, and SMB, but it also allows you to now convert those file data into object storage so that you have the bimodal access, wherein that file data can be accessed as a file or can be accessed directly on the object storage using S3. So you can write those files in through a file and make it sure that you are taking advantage of the object storage. The architecture is built to support service providers. It has various capabilities in terms of modularity. You can start small and scale seamlessly, non-disruptively across single site, multiple sites with multi-tenancy, QoS, and also has granular bucket-level data management. And what I mean by that is this is what makes it very unique for Veeam and Green Cloud is for different tenants, right? We know that not every data is treated the same. So you can, at a bucket level, say, I want this bucket to be immutable. I want this bucket to be encrypted. I want this bucket to be erasure coded across multiple sites. I want to make sure that this bucket has the ability to tier to the public cloud so that I can then have another cold copy in the public cloud. All those data management capabilities are at the bucket level. Cloudian integrates with any of the public clouds, so for any customers that are looking to leverage the public cloud and have that seamless hybrid cloud experience, we can do that through our relationship with our public cloud vendors, right? And as I mentioned earlier, we are the only vendor that provides the object lock immutability along with the tamper-proofing of the hardware so that, you can be 100% assured that, there is no way that data can be tampered through any of the backdoors that most of the software-defined solutions will expose you to. Not only that, Cloudian can support traditional workloads as well as Kubernetes workloads for your cloud-native applications. So it gives you a perfect platform to build your solutions on and give you that scale, that economics, and that hybrid cloud immunity and certifications and security certifications that you need. Since we're talking about object lock, I want to just highlight a quick things, right? As we mentioned earlier and as we talked about, the biggest thing that needs to be done when it comes to ransomware protection is we need to stop those threats to encrypt your data. And as Justin mentioned, right, the target has now become the backup side of it. And through our partnership with Veeam, we now have a way to lock down your backups, right, and make it immutable through object lock. Object lock allows you to now, through Veeam, dictate the policies on how you want to lock up your data and your backup streams so that you can protect it against ransomware. This makes sure that the data is immutable so it cannot be encrypted, and as thus making ransomware ineffective, right? You also have an ability through Veeam to dictate how long you want to make that data immutable. So like, if you have policies where you are rotating your backups and you have certain policies, you can dictate all of those things through an integration with Veeam. And this, as Mike was saying, right now with Cloud Connect, Cloudian object storage, the end-to-end workflows will give you a complete ransomware protection solution. And this is very, very critical, and this is what you will get from Green Cloud, Veeam, and Cloudian solution. So, Justin, do you want to help me summarize what we are trying to do with Veeam, Cloudian, and Green Cloud solution that helps our customers out here from protection of ransomware?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Sanjay. Thanks, Mike. That was good information on both organizations. I think that what Mike and Sanjay both presented today was fantastic and really sheds light on why Green Cloud as a service provider would choose Veeam and would choose Cloudian as our partners, right? To help us bring solutions, these enterprise class solutions, down to the small business market. Right. It just makes perfect sense. Green Cloud's been a Veeam partner now for, I think, the better part of 5 years. Cloudian, as I mentioned earlier, being our newest partner that we signed up this year, and the holistic solution that we are able to now deliver because of not only Green Cloud's partnership with Veeam and Cloudian, but Veeam and Cloudian's relationship and their partnership in helping us bring this solution to market. Right. As we talked about earlier, ransomware is by far the #1 threat that we're seeing today, and it is just wreaking havoc in the industry of businesses of all sizes. It's governments, military, small business. It's attacking MSPs and using MSPs as a gateway to get into multiple small businesses. And so by really moving the data protection conversation into the security conversation as part of it, now we can take that to Mike's slide of data criticality, right? The data is critical. Mike said it best. You can rebuild infrastructure. You can rebuild and replace hardware. You can rebuild an office. You cannot replace your data. And so that is why the critical nature of your data must be protected. And that's why we have decided and worked with Veeam and Cloudian to bring this product to market, right? To protect from ransomware, that object lock capability where we can make those backups unchangeable. So ransomware cannot encrypt them. That is an enormous feature to bring peace of mind to our partners and to their customers, and that's why we've chosen it. And in Cloudian, as Sanjay mentioned, it's more than just object lock, right? It's the entire Cloudian stack that they bring to the table. Is security has been part of the design of their product from the start, from the ground up. Not just being software, but also taking the hardware component into it, although you can run it as a software-only solution if you so choose. So, this really makes perfect sense. It really allows Green Cloud to provide an end-to-end secure backup product where security is intrinsic. It's there. There's no additional steps that need to be done to enable any of this for our partners or any of that nature. It really, truly is a best-of-breed solution through what Green Cloud feels are best-of-breed partners in Veeam and Cloudian. So to show a little bit more about how it works, building off the diagram that Mike discussed a little earlier, where he was showing on the right side of the screen where we had the prem and maybe the hyperscaler, and on the left side we had the service provider. This is a little bit more Cloud Connect focused view here, where you'll see kind of on the left side we have tenants. So those would be customers. Those could be small businesses. Those could be enterprises. Those could be the MSP themselves. It just can be a variety of customers. They're going to come in via the Veeam Cloud Connect connection, like Mike discussed, right? A single port TLS SSL connection in, end-to-end encryption, transferring that backup or copying that backup up to Green Cloud's Veeam infrastructure, and then from there, our Veeam infrastructure can copy and move the backup over to the Cloudian stack in the Cloudian infrastructure, and Veeam will apply the object lock when that happens. So you can see it even adds the additional benefit of the backup is copied and moved to another storage platform, right? Where traditional Cloud Connect, if you take Cloudian away, the backups are stored on a redundant repository infrastructure, but we've added an extra layer here in this solution by adding Cloudian. And again, that big feature of Cloudian being secured sort of from top to bottom as a solution, the ability to apply object lock, and now the backups are immutable. So should ransomware, and hopefully it doesn't, but should ransomware get in, it can go, it cannot change those backups. And that's one of the big benefits here, and why and how we're going to enable our partners to delete ransomware. And another big thing about this solution, kind of going back to Mike's slide, where he talked and showed the architecture. I'm gonna present this slide to you guys here again, because I think there's a very critical point to talk about here. And if you look at on the right side, we've got premise with the Veeam backup and replication product. We have public cloud, and you see the Veeam agents. We have infrastructure as a service. So you can see Green Cloud. Obviously, you mentioned earlier, we offer infrastructure as a service, but it could be another cloud provider that offers infrastructure as a service. You can see Veeam agents. So really, what Green Cloud delivers to the market, to our MSPs, is we can back up and protect from ransomware the data on any workload in any location. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be a laptop. It could be at a premise office. It could be running in one of the hyperscalers. It could be running on our infrastructure as a service. It could be running on someone else's infrastructure as a service. We can protect any workload anywhere, right, with this ransomware protection and secure Baas product. So I think that's a salient point here in what we've done and what we're bringing to market here to really take away from this meeting here in this webinar. So let me catch back up to where we were talking about the design. As you can see again, we leverage Cloud Connect to get the backups copied up to our infrastructure. It really enables, especially the small business space, to just consume what they need. They don't have to invest in heavy infrastructure to have a secondary target for a backup. You really just get the capacity you need to store those backups offsite. You get to control your retention on how much you want to store offsite. You can store long-term retention for compliance, or you can just keep a shorter term. But all the same, the ransomware protection, the object lock is applied right through the Cloudian integration, which is fantastic, where it can't be those backups can't be changed. So to kind of bring it home and summarize things, as we talked about, right, we've taken two solutions and two partners that Green Cloud has in Veeam and Cloudian. We've leveraged their partnership. That's enabled us to take a backup as a service product that we've had for years that is secure, and we've been able to take that security to the next level to really defeat ransomware. Right? The product of backup as a service is secure and that it's end-to-end encryption. It's got your copy or your backups offsite, so it meets all of those requirements. But now we're taking it to the next level by bringing Cloudian into the solution and enabling object lock, where we can truly make those backups immutable and defeat ransomware. If ransomware can't encrypt the file, you know that you have a clean restore for your data once you've removed the threat from the source environment. You have a clean backup that you'll be able to go back to restore, and that is absolutely critical for businesses as we go forward in this world that we live in today with the threat of ransomware. And another key point to drive home here is data protection, backup, business continuity, disaster recovery. Those conversations in the past have been parallel or separate to the security conversation, but data protection is absolutely now today necessary to be folded in and a critical conversation piece within the security framework of any organization today, because you, as Mike alluded to and I've echoed, you simply cannot replace data. And the extreme example that Gina gave earlier about the print company in Colorado having to close their doors, right? Obviously, we can provide some protection with that today, and hopefully this solution will help a partner and their customer have their data accessible and not get to that point as far as having to close their business. So we believe and we're confident that through our partnerships with Veeam and Cloudian that we're able to deliver a best-of-breed product here with our secure Baas product offering to go ahead and really enable everyone our partners to defeat ransomware. So with that, that ends the presentation that we had today. If you do have some questions, you want to find out how to sign up to become a partner of GreenCloud, here on the screen we have an email address, partner@gogreencloud.com. You can also go to our website, www.gogreencloud.com. There's a contact us section that you can fill out, and we'll reach out to you guys. We're also going to follow up with all the attendees today, with a special offer that we'll have and we'll be running as a promotion for a period of time on the new Secure Baas product offering that we have coming to market. So with that, I'll turn it back to Gina and open it up for Q&A.
Thank you so much. Well, it looks like we have some good questions here, so we're going to get started. So the first question is, so the typical grandfather, father, son retention policy will ensure that a complete copy of data is always protected? So that's a question in the form of a question.
I'm going to reread the question so I make sure I understand it, Gina.
Okay. It looks like the question is a question. So they're asking if the typical grandfather, father, and son retention policy will ensure that a complete copy of data is always protected.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. The answer to that is yes. The grandfather, father, son is a mechanism known to Veeam for creating, weeklies, monthlies, quarterlies, and yearly backups, creating that long-term retention strategy. So you would have those points in times that you'd be able to go to, and if those backups, if you're using, the idea would be you'd use that strategy on your copy job, that's copying to the GreenCloud repository, so that those restore points would be copied and moved to object storage and be locked to get the extra protection.
Awesome, thank you. All right, the next question, if you already use Veeam encryption to encrypt the backup files, why is this needed?
So if the Veeam backup file itself, if you have job level encryption enabled, that doesn't prevent ransomware from encrypting that file, right? It prevents that job level encryption and prevents someone from opening that Veeam backup file with another Veeam instance and accessing the data, but it does not prevent the ransomware threat from taking that file and applying its own encryption on top of the Veeam backup file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Justin, if I may add, I think ransomware is all about encryption of data. It doesn't know whether that data is already encrypted, right? So you can always re-encrypt an encrypted data. And that's one of the reasons why you need to make the data immutable, so that you cannot write on it. And that means you cannot re-encrypt it. And hence, to prevent actual ransomware, you need to make your data immutable. That's probably the only way you can address this concern of someone overwriting your data. So just simple as that.
Yeah, and
great
if I could jump in,
Sanjay. Go ahead,
if I can jump in here a second, Justin, I think you guys have answered the part about if Veeam's already encrypting the backup file, that part. But the other part I want to point out is even if you're encrypting your Veeam backup files, a lot of malware and ransomware still initially sometimes it's targeted to encrypt data, but other times it's also to delete data. So it'll search for files that have the backup file extensions that are well known, right? Whereas even if you're encrypting your files, it's not going to prevent that file from being deleted by some malware. Whereas with the object lock, with Cloudian and immutability, you're protecting yourself from both vectors, both encryption of data as well as deletion of data.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mike. And that's what Sanjay mentioned at Worm, write once, read many, right? That's what that stands for. So it can write to the object repository once, and then it can't be changed. right? So which means it can't be deleted either. So great point, Sanjay and Mike. Appreciate that.
Perfect, thank you. Let's go to the next question. Why is the U.S. government certification important, and what verticals and sectors require this certification?
You want me to take this, Justin?
Yeah, go ahead, Sanjay. I'll let you take that.
Yeah, so I think there are two things, right? I mentioned this briefly when I was talking about Cloudian's capabilities, and even Justin mentioned this, right? It is not just about VARM and immutability. There are two reasons why government certification is important. First is when we go for certifications, let's say like FIPS and common criteria, what they're saying is, do you, first of all, that product does what we are talking about, making it secure and all those things. They basically go through all the different threat vectors, not only just from a product perspective, from anywhere from a development perspective and all those cycles. So getting that certification is a way to say that the solution actually does what it does, and it is going to be good enough to offer you the protection that is needed. Well, now, why is that important? Right? Because first thing first is most of the enterprises and other things, like, they generally don't want to trust just the vendor piece. They want the third-party verifications, and this is what government certification does. What also it does is, if you are that company who is trying to protect that data, and you're looking to get insurance against ransomware protection or something like that, what this also does is it allows that insurance company to say, yes, I have something that is certified from a third-party entity that will allow me to do. So there are many factors. The other thing that I said also is very important is, as a software-defined solution, you can probably do the locking and the VARM solution. But if you're running this on a third-party solution, a hardware, and you're operating at the user space and you don't have control on the system-level access, that means anybody can access that system and overwrite some of your credentials and be able to now make that data accessible again. You need to protect that end-to-end stack from not only just your software, but on the system side. And this is what some of the certifications like Common Criteria and the FIPS 140-2 allows you to get to that level of certifications and that level of security and tamper-proof. That's what Cloudian has invested a lot. This is what makes it applicable across every industry, right? If you're looking at finance, then it's the SEC 17A. If you're looking at healthcare, it's the HIPAA certifications. If it's looking at the federal side or public sector side, then you are looking at common guide. So it is something that is applicable across industries and different verticals.
Thank you, Sanjay. All right, the next question. How would the backup files in Green Cloud become encrypted, especially if the tenant doesn't have access to it in a file explorer type? Is Green Cloud saying that they have a vulnerability?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, the answer to that is no. We don't have a vulnerability, but I'll say that it's not just file explorer access into the repository to encrypt the files. There's other mechanisms, and ransomware is continuing to get more intelligent. Veeam obviously is an application and software, so there are different mechanisms and attack vectors that we're protecting from, right? And we're enabling that additional protection by making the backups unchangeable. So should there be a ransomware that gets smart enough, if you will, to bypass some of the limitations because of a scale-out repository on the cloud side, or like you had mentioned, being unable to browse through File Explorer, the cloud repository, those backups will still remain unchanged, and that's the key point here. Is the backups will not be changeable until as long as they're locked.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Justin, if I could add just a little bit there. So the real attack vector that you're talking about in this question is really from the tenant side, not so much from the Green Cloud Connect side. So when Green Cloud provisions resources like a cloud repository to a tenant, there is a username and password that that tenant uses to connect into GreenCloud. That is stored locally on the customer's on-prem Veeam backup and replication server. So if that server was compromised, they could possibly have access to those credentials and or change those credentials. If they did get access and elevated to those credentials, they do have the ability using some internal Veeam mechanisms to actually delete those from disk. Encryption would be a little harder to do from that perspective. The real attack vector, again, is deletion of the backup data. But again, this is a part of the solution that Justin and GreenCloud Technologies is bringing to market, where they're protecting against both possibilities, both encryption and or deletion.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. All right, the next question. How does this solution affect ransomware cyber insurance, including non-governmental?
Like I mentioned in my answer, right, what this does is most of the insurance companies nowadays, if you go and talk to, they will have ask you for a proof of what you have done to protect against ransomware. And what the solution will now do is you can use this solution and some of the Cloudian certification and say that this is what we have done, and that will allow you to first thing get your insurance, lower your insurance coverage, and have that peace of mind. So the solution helps with providing data points that would be required by the insurance to get you the coverage that you need, as well as to lower the total insurance that you are supposed to be paying for it.
Okay, thank you, Sanjay. The next question. How does object lock differ from insider protection?
That's a great question. Mike, I'm going to let you take that one. How about that?
Yeah, sure. No problem. So insider protection is a mechanism that's specific to Veeam Cloud Connect. It's a feature we came to market with a few years ago that basically if a backup is deleted out of the cloud repository, it gets sent to a recycle bin that only the service provider can access, no tenant can access. And that allows the service provider to assist in recovery there. The thing that insider protection does not prevent is encryption of that data. So it does protect against deletion, but if that data for some reason is encrypted, and I'll give you a scenario. Let's say you got infected with ransomware that encrypted the backup file locally first, and then it was copied to Cloud Connect. That file is still encrypted by the ransomware. And so insider protection is also on the same storage that the cloud repository is using. So it's not removed like in the scenario with Cloudian with Object Lock, which is a completely different storage solution that is also leveraging the Object Lock, which prevents both encryption and deletion. So even if they're working on deleting something, it's, again, as Justin mentioned earlier, it's that you're taking the security capabilities and failure domains to the next level.
Okay, thank you. And you may have answered this. How does Object Lock affect restores of my data, restored data?
Sure. So the beautiful thing about this whole solution is that from an end user perspective, if you wanted to do a restore, even from a restore point that is stored in Cloudian with Object Lock, it is immutable. As Sanjay mentioned, it's worm or write once, read many. Your restores are going to be completely normal. You're not going to have to take any additional steps. You're not even necessarily going to know that the restore point is sitting on the Cloudian platform and is immutable, because all we're doing is reading the data when we do a restore.
Okay, thank you. The next question, and again, I think this has been answered previously, but I just want to make sure, how does this product differ from your current Baas product?
Yeah, this is Justin. So I kind of tried to allude to that a little bit in the presentation, but essentially we're adding the extra layer to this product with object storage and with Cloudian. So we're folding in Cloudian into to enhance and create a new secure Baas product. The existing Baas product today does not have Cloudian tied to it or as part of it. So it's more of a traditional Veeam Cloud Connect setup that has the end-to-end encryption and the insider protection enabled, and those enhanced features to create a secure solution. But what we've done with Cloudian and Veeam and that relationship is now we're able to add Cloudian in to create a new solution for secure Baas, right, with the object lock.
Okay, makes sense. Is the object lock retention setting adjustable?
So the object lock setting is actually done on the Green Cloud side. So it's not adjustable on a per tenant or per job basis. It's part of Green Cloud's product, right? Our product description will have have those settings in there and how long we'll lock the data.
Okay. Next question, how does the Cloudian solution compare in terms of cost and flexibility with respect to other cloud offerings?
No, that's an interesting question. Cloudian is as I had mentioned earlier in my talk, we are a cloud-native storage solution, right? And what I mean by that is Cloudian was built and designed to do distributed, scale-out, cloud-native object storage, very similar to what you would probably get in a cloud, right? You can deploy this across multiple sites. You can deploy this in different logical units, like, you can have data centers, regions, all been managed in the single cluster namespace and so on and so forth. So you basically get the same cloud technology, but now you get it on-prem. And the value is by doing this, you are basically now doing two things. If your data is generated in on-prem, you can keep them locally. You can leverage the same cloud-like architecture and avoid the costly, expensive pieces of moving data in and out and access charges and all those things. This is what makes it very a great solution for Green Cloud and the on-prem private cloud solutions to leverage that same technology and be able to offer same cloud-like scale, flexibility, and resiliency. So that's what makes it. It's basically the same technology. Think about it in your data center without having all the complexities of managing access and all those things. So that brings in the economics and TCOs into the picture.
Thank you, Sanjay. Final question, what do I need to get started with the offering? And I'm not sure if that's coming from a customer or an MSP, but what do they need to get started?
Okay. Yeah, so as we talked about at the end there, if you're already a Green Cloud partner and you're on this webinar, go ahead and reach out to your account manager. If you're looking to become a Green Cloud partner, reach out to us via email at partner@gogreencloud.com or our website, which is www.gogreencloud.com, and follow the Contact Us link up there. Additionally, we are going to all attendees today, we will be reaching out from the attendee list with the promotional offer that we're going to have as part of the product release. So you be on the lookout for that within your email as well.
Excellent. I don't see any other questions. So, Mogli, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you, Gina, Justin, Sanjay, and Mike for the informative discussion today, and to Veeam, Green Cloud Technologies, and Cloudian for sponsoring today's event. Just a quick reminder, the seminar will be available on demand starting tomorrow, so please feel free to come back and review. Have a great day, and thank you for attending.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.